Welcome everybody to the third Tuesday live training of 2020, and I have a great topic to talk to you about tonight, and I am thrilled to be here. And yeah, so how is everybody doing? I'm going to give a second for everybody to get on before we begin. So there's a few things that we're going to talk about tonight. The first thing is, this is the Lightworkers and Healers tribe. So there's a few things about the Lightworkers and Healers tribe that I want to put out right now. Number one is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we have these Tuesday live trainings where you choose the topic, and then we talk about then we can vote on the topic, and then those are the topics that are played in these Tuesday live trainings. So the more you put into this group and you vote on the topics, the more you'll get out of it, because I'll be talking on things that you want to hear. The second thing is your votes count for that. Don't forget in the group that you can post your comments or questions that you have. So in the group, you can post things that you're going through your day, things that you're unsure about, any type of spiritual thing that you have questions on or you want to know more about, or you just want to rave about or talk about. Post that in the group. And then we have such a range of people where they are in their spiritual journey, and it doesn't matter where you are in your spiritual journey, whether you're just beginning or whether you're a little more advanced in your spiritual realm. That doesn't matter, and that's actually perfect, because the people who have a little bit more experience can always chime into the post on the group page. So it doesn't matter where you are, post. And if you're a little bit more in the advanced area of it, then you can raise topics that are very interesting too. And what I like to do for these Tuesday live trainings is kind of have a mixture. So I have where I get from the beginning, and I could bring somebody and get them aware of what we're talking about. And on top of that, then I add in a little bit of tidbit of more advanced spiritual information. So you get a mixture of both in this. So we do have a range of people, and this is to hit on everybody. Where you are in your own spiritual journey and where you are is perfect. And so welcome again to these Tuesday live training. Welcome, Kimberly. Welcome everybody that is joining right now. Kimberly said, I made it before the replay. Woo! I'm really happy that you're here, and I'm just thrilled to do these. Also, what I'm going to be doing more of in these Tuesday live trainings is there's a lot of things that I learn, that I receive information for, that I haven't been putting into this group because of the different, how people are at different levels in their spiritual journey. And I didn't want to put something that, maybe the more beginners would understand, but I'm actually getting to start putting more of that in here. So even if you don't understand it, or even if it's something new or way out there to you, you may not need, so take what resonates with you for each video and leave the rest. Okay, leave the rest. It's not important for you at the time. If it resonates, great. Take that in, suck it in. If it doesn't resonate with you, and or it's newer to you, then maybe it's not time for you to go into that. And maybe it won't ever be. It depends on your journey. We all have different journeys. Ketty says, hello, I'm new to the group. Thank you for doing this. I am thrilled that you're here. I'm excited to give you this information, and welcome to the group. And yeah, it's very nice to meet you. So as we continue, the first thing I'll do is I'll reintroduce myself. Because we have new people coming into this group all the time, I'm going to reintroduce myself in every video. So my name is Lauren Egle. I'm a 4th level Master Peruvian Shaman, certified natural health professional, 200-hour yoga instructor, yoga teacher, and some other things. That's just my background. I am the founder of Earth and Balance, and the creator of the Lightworkers Path program, which you'll be hearing more about, which helps people bring them to a completely new level in their spiritual journey, really learning how to dive into their intuition, dive into their purpose in life, and uncover their own unique healing abilities, unlock those. So that's what the Lightworkers program is about. That's just a little tidbit. And what I'm also going to talk about, or let's just, actually in the post, I want you to post, let's see, what is something interesting you have done today? I would love to hear what you have done today that you found interesting. It doesn't, or excited you, right? We need some excitement in our life, right? So I would love to live vicariously through you. In the comments, type in something that you have experienced today that is interesting and or exciting. I would love to hear that. Also, like this video, give thumbs up, whatever you feel, because if you're thrilled, that's amazing. I'm very thrilled to be here right now, especially with the new things that I'm introducing into this video. Ooh. Okay. So let's see. Diane said, I found time to go swimming and actually swim 26 laps. That is amazing. I don't know when the last time I've swum 26 laps was. I think I was in high school. So that is amazing. Diane, I love that. Yay. All right. So I'm just going to pull up the thing real quick. See if there's any more comments. Okay, so we'll continue. The next thing is I'm just going to talk about, there we go. All right, so I'm just going to talk about what we're learning for tonight. So what we're learning for tonight is mirror image, how the world is a reflection of you. So we're going to go down different points of how the world is a reflection of you. So what this helps you do is dive deeper into yourself. But what it's doing is looking at the outside, looking at the world to give you clues into your own healing, right? Because I teach how to dive into yourself, but now I'm in this video, in this training, I'm teaching how you can use the world to help you learn more about yourself and to heal. Okay? That's what we're going to be learning tonight, and that's why I'm super excited about it. So the first thing is, number one is why you get triggered. So we're going to talk about being triggered and trigger points and all of that. We're going to talk about how you can work with patterns in your life, okay? We're going to look into a sneak peek of your purpose and how different patterns can go into your purpose, and how the world in a way can give you sneak peeks of your purpose if you don't know what your purpose is yet, okay? And the fourth part is looking at different perceptions. Perceptions is huge. Perception is what creates our realities for ourselves. So we're going to talk about that. And a little extra, and I wasn't sure why I was even bringing this in, is deja vu. As I was writing this down, as I was going through everything with, what should I put in this video for tonight, I got deja vu, and I had no idea how that even related to what I was talking about. So that's going to be the extra. That's going to be the little bonus part, and we're going to go even deeper. So again, what resonates with you, take that. With what you don't resonate with at the moment is perfect. It means maybe it's not your time that it resonates with you with. Maybe it's not something that is important for your life path, okay? So again, take what resonates with you, leave the rest, and we're going to be talking about deja vu and getting deeper into that. So that's the part that I'm really excited about, because this part is in a way newer to me, so I love to introduce newer things also. I love teaching all this, but also. Okay, so again, hello everybody, welcome, and I'm thrilled that you're here. So we shall begin on tonight's journey. Yay! The first part is we're going to talk about trigger points, okay? So what is a trigger point? Like, what does that mean? Trigger points are situations or persons or people or things that trigger us. They stimulate a reaction an action or reaction out of us, okay? So we may get emotional, right? We may get reactive. We react to something that triggers us. And I'll give an example of this. So I'm kind of filling in the basis right now of what I'm even talking about. An example is one of the clients who have graduated from the Lightworkers Path program a little while ago. So she's an alumni of the program. She, during the program, had this issue with this girl. The girl was really nice. She didn't even know why she had this issue, but what she explained to me was that when she would even think about the girl, or when she would think about the girl, she would get like ugh, like that's the word she'd feel like, oh, something triggered her with this girl. So I asked her, I was like, okay, did this girl ever do anything to you? No. Do you feel like she's sending you weird energies? And she's like, she's really sweet. I don't see why she would do that, okay? The first thing I teach is to always listen to your heart, always listen to that gut feeling. And in this point, what she felt, she dove into her heart, and she got that it's not actually her. And I was like, okay, everything that you see is a reflection of yourself, as in everything that triggers you, okay, that stimulates you, that gets your emotions going, whether it's excitement, whether it is, like sadness, all of that, again, is a reflection of you. And I know I taught this in the last Heal Your Chakras Intensive, a little bit about this, but I'm going to be going into different things. So she felt this weird feeling with this girl, and I had her dive into her heart and dive in deeper into, okay, what is it? What certain qualities, or what does she do, or at what moment were you triggered? And she thought back to the times of when she was triggered, of when she had a reaction, of when she got that feeling. And she was able to bring it back. What she's doing right now, and what I'm teaching you to do, is that in that moment when something triggers you, that's the second that you say, oh, this is something for me to look at. Because it's not that it's the other person. Even if they said something so mean to you, okay, and you react, you're not reacting because of what they said. Yes, maybe it's not, right. It's not nice to say, but you're reacting because you have these internal wounds, these inner wounds from what most likely your past, or from your past in your life, that when they say those mean things, it hits you in those wounds, and then you react. And the first thing that comes up is your emotions. In most cases, the first thing that comes up is your emotions. And then your mind comes into it saying, wait, no, I'm not going to do this. This is whenever the defense mechanisms come on, okay? So when you notice that you get triggered, and or all of a sudden you're being defensive towards people, whether or not they come at you with something very rude or very mean, it could be something so indirect that wasn't even towards you and you can get triggered on. That wasn't even something mean, but whatever it was may have hit a wound inside of you that made you have that action or the reaction to what they said. So when we can go back and say, wait, I'm reacting right now. Okay, what is it that they said that made me react, and how do I feel about it? The first thing you want to go into is your feelings, okay? How do I feel about this? Does it make you sad? Or did it make you sad? Did it make you angry? The reason why you want to start noticing and being aware of how you react is because this will give you an idea of where to start working on yourself. For example, you can go into meditation, and during the meditation you can ask yourself, why did I, go get angry at that moment? And you can think of the scenario if you want to, and go and pinpoint it, and see what comes up during your meditation. Or you can just start journaling about it. Just start writing and say, I got angry at this point, and not look at the other person, because that's our defense mechanism. Our defense mechanism is to completely turn it to the other person, because that is a way of, number one, protecting ourselves. So that's what ego does, is protect us, which is a good thing, right? But sometimes we don't really need that protection. So, okay, maybe at that moment we did, okay? And ego protected our soul from fragmenting. I'm not going to go further into that right now, but ego protected our soul. And so we had that protection. So now we can look at, okay, let's not turn it on them. Let's always, always, always turn it on to ourselves. And this is great for relationships also, with your significant others, because that's when a lot of wounds, your inner wounds, are hit. The first thing we want to do is immediately, even if they don't, let me go back, even if they don't say something that's offensive to you, if you get triggered, it doesn't matter where it's coming from, that's where you want to look into it. Because at that moment you reacted, your emotions came up. In that moment, because your emotions came up, it means there's wounds. There's a wound that it's hitting, and that's why you're reacting. Think about this. If you have, okay, if there's somebody that's sitting there yelling at me, calling me a horrible person, calling me horrible names, okay, and this person doesn't mean anything to me, and I am fully confident, or even if it's a friend, okay, I'll say it's a friend, and I'm fully confident in who I am, and I don't have that unworthiness in that area because I've worked on myself so hard, will that affect me as they're calling me these names? No. Will it get a reaction out of me? No. Why? Because I've done so much work on those. One huge thing is unworthiness. I've done so much work on those wounds that it doesn't matter if someone attacks me. I'm confident in that area that what they're saying, I do not believe, because I know myself and because I feel confident with myself. So this is where you're trying to get to. However, if my boyfriend, for example, says something about me, like to me, and he says, you're always like this. Well, because I am still working on stuff from my dad, issues that I've had, and like past stuff that I've had then, doesn't necessarily mean he did anything. I'm saying it's what I perceive from the past. I'm not going to get into that. But say I still have issues from my past dealing with my dad, then from there's James is now saying something towards me, and then I react to it. I need to look at myself first. I need to see why I reacted, see where it's coming from, if you have that capability. If you don't, there's ways to get there. There's a Lightworkers Path program that can help learn how to dive into all of that and heal yourself. There's also meditations. You can start journaling and get more information. But at that moment, I want to look at myself. I don't want to immediately turn it to him, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up my defense mechanism and I'm going to start attacking him. And anybody or anything that triggers me, that makes the emotions come up, you always want to revert back to yourself and say, no, it's me. If they're doing something mean, if they're doing something like horrible to you, it doesn't mean it's okay. It's not okay. So you do set boundaries with that and let them know this is not okay. But to react to it, to start getting to where they are, is not necessarily where we want to go. So in that situation, if you start to react, take a step back, say, okay, what is it within me? Notice where you are in that situation. Notice how you feel, because then you can bring this information, go home and meditate on it and or journal on it and get more information. And this is what's going to start your healing in this area. And the only reason why it's coming up is because it's time to be worked on. And a lot of times we'll have a reaction and we will push it away, right? We will save it for later. especially when we start seeing, and I'll get into patterns, but especially if we start seeing it more than once, we definitely want to look at it. We can't keep pushing it away. So that is about the triggers, okay? And it's about looking at where you are in that situation, whether it's with family, which is a big one. Family can normally trigger us, right? Whether it's with certain friends that you hang out with, whether it's with certain groups of people, whether it's with your work. The good thing is I'm going to start talking about what this does when you work on yourself after we get through a couple of things. So that's to look forward to. Now, let me know how you're feeling about this. Write in the comments, yes, this is resonating. I understand. No, I'm kind of lost. This was a lot of information. Let me know where you are. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop that in the comments so that I can get to it and clear things up for you. Because this is not for me, this is for you. Since I already know this stuff, so I'm teaching it, right? So I will be watching that. And again, I am very, very happy that each of you are here. Good to know where you are with all of this. Okay. And I did just go down a lot of information. So again, let me know where you are if you have any questions, all of that. Okay. And I will be watching what comes up. Now, as I'm looking at this, I'm going to continue. Now, the next part of it is patterns. Okay. We're going to start talking about patterns. Now, one thing about patterns is patterns are recurrent situations of the types of people or situations. Patterns are recurrent situations or types of people or situations that are recurrent, right? Before I continue with that, I'm going to go back. Diane said, it's hard to not react, but this makes sense. Yes. It's not that we don't, it's that we don't react. So that takes practice, okay? But even with so much, I've had so much practice with this, and I've gotten it pretty good, like pretty to a T. And it's not the reaction part, because we can have those emotions come up because the emotions tell us what we need to know, that there's that wound there, right? But to say something back or to go into whatever it is where your heart's not right, it's more of a defense mechanism, is the practice part of it. So it is very hard not to react, but practice, makes us we get better at it. And again, with all the practice that I've had doing it, I'm really good at not reacting to certain things, because I turn it into myself and I look at, okay, where is this feelings coming up? Where is my wounds? And, well, okay, so that happens. But there is still those times where, like, all of a sudden it's like, boom, I'm gone, and I'm, like, talking back. And that normally, for me, happens with family. So that takes a lot of practice. But it's perfect each time, because each time you get a little better at it. And even if you take a couple steps back, just know that you're not starting at ground zero, and that is practice. Yeah, cool. And I hope that answered your question, Diane, or commented to it. So now we'll go back to patterns. Again, the patterns are the recurrent situations for a type of people or situations that come up in your life. Here is an example. This is going deeper with trigger points. So we're still talking about trigger points, but we're bringing it into patterns. One example is me doing the spiritual fairs. So I would have hundreds of people in these spiritual or holistic fairs, I should say, and they'll come sit down for 20 minutes, and then I'll have a next person, then I'll have a next person. What I notice with this is all of a sudden I'm getting people, like a bunch of people who need inner child work. And or I'm getting a bunch of people who are needing ancestral work. And or I'm getting a bunch of people who want to connect with their past loved ones, for example. These, I notice, because they're coming up in patterns, when I'm working on that many people and I'm seeing patterns of what they're coming to me for, because we work on so many things. I don't just work on that with the people that come sit down at the table. That means I need to look at myself. That means I have inner child work. That means I have ancestral work. Or that means I have stuff with connecting with a past loved one, which means it's probably my dad or my brother trying to get into my field. Normally I'm blocking them out because it's still painful, but that's just an example. So what we can do is look at this, and if we notice certain people, certain situations, or even our tribe, the group of people we hang out with, if we notice there's patterns, okay, let's take for work, let's start it with work. We notice that we keep getting the same people coming to us, or the same situations are occurring where they have themes to them. They may not be the exact same, but they have themes to them. And you notice that, you want to reflect it to yourself and say, okay, I'm seeing this theme. They all have these themes. What is it that I need to know about this myself with this theme? Then, so that's work. Another thing is that a lot of people are losing their friends. And I say losing their friends not in a negative way. It means that a lot of people, because they're growing in their spiritual realm, there's people that are no longer serving what's of their highest benefit. So whether they're, toxic people for them, or people that are, again, no longer serving them, well, this is when people are trying to find their tribe. They're trying to find people that resonate with them. So when you start, your friends are going in a different direction, that's okay. Why? Because there's going to be people who resonate with you more. There's going to be people that you can have deeper, intimate relationships with that are going to be coming in. So the reason why I'm even bringing up tribe right here is because if you are hanging out with a bunch of people that aren't resonating with you anymore, and you notice yourself changing and they're not staying the same, but they're going in a different direction, which is perfect, it's part of their path and their life, but it's not matching with yours anymore, you can look at these people and notice with your group of friends, why were you attracted to them in the first place? As in, what themes do you see with these people? And is that theme still serving you? If they're still around, if they're still coming around, and you're still hanging out with them, and then you know that they're not good for you, but you don't know why they keep coming back, it's to look at the patterns of these friends or of the situations, and then revert that back to you. And then the biggest thing that I want to get to, okay, so we'll leave that there because I want to get to this first. Megan said, I find this very helpful. I've been struggling with being reactive to triggers lately. I recognize it's coming from a wounded place, but I find it hard not to react. I will try meditating to determine. That one's coming. It's not really showing in my screen. Okay, I'll get back to that. But yes, it is hard to. If you do get triggered, it's hard to not, react to that trigger. And I will come back to that. But I'll get back to the patterns and the tribe part. So then we have, let's see. Then we have the tribe, right? And or a group of friends. And again, we look at this group of friends and we say, okay, this is what's in me this is the pattern that these people are coming around. So then we look into ourselves and we journal or meditate, or if you know how to do healings on yourself, then we do that for ourselves on these themes. And what happens and what you'll notice is that these people, because once you heal that area or that part of yourself, these people will no longer come around. And the reason being is because they're no longer serving you, as in they're no longer teaching you that lesson that you need because you healed in that area. Here's another example. I explained how if James comes and says something to me that is triggering to me, and let's say I leave the situation, like say he's angry about it, I'm angry about it, we're just in that mood, we take space. I normally take space from a situation, and Megan, this may help you, and Diane, this may help you too. If we need to take that space in that situation, if we start to react and we need that space, then get out of the situation. Give yourself that break to get out of the situation, and then come back to it when you're ready. So for this example is, I notice I start getting triggered with something that James says, and then I take a break, take a step back, I go into my own space, I do some journal or meditating on it. Maybe this takes a couple of days, maybe I need a couple of days. It doesn't matter how long it takes you, but I take a step back, and then once I work on this and heal that aspect of my life and that wound, whatever this argument was about is no longer relevant. Why? Because what he says to me will no longer affect me in that way because I've healed that area. And that's the same idea of a random person saying something mean to me. If I'm healed in that area, I won't react. And most likely I will just, if it was a random person, I would be like, that's not very nice. And that's it. Or that's not very nice and I do not accept this, and walk away. But I won't be triggered by it. So the more you work on yourself, the more of what they put out or whatever triggers you is no longer a trigger. And it's like it disappears and the situation is relieved. But there may be some self-expression that you need to go back and, I'd be talking to James and I need to express myself with it. So just follow your heart with that. I'm not going to get into the self-expression. So that is the patterns part, that you want to listen to the patterns. Okay. Let's see. We are good with that. Again, if you have any questions, if you are confused, let me know. Let's see. And yes, Megan, I did see the rest of your message. It says, I will try meditating to determine the cause of my triggers. Perfect. So the next thing we're going to go into is purpose. Now this one's a fun one, okay? One thing I teach in the Lightworkers Path program is discovering your purpose. Now, how do triggers, or how does the world being a reflection show us what our purpose is, right? Oh yes, Diane, I probably should have. I did go deep, and I tend to go or give a little bit, like a lot of information. So what you can do is watch this now, and or stop when you feel it's right for your heart, and then come back to it when you're ready to get more information. So you can finish it through and only digest what you digest, and then come back to it, you'll get more. Diane says, I love it. Oh, great. Good. So going back to the purpose part. Now, patterns, whether they're negative or positive, whether we're triggered or we're triggered in a good way, right? A positive way. Maybe we get excited because of something. There's that positive and negative with triggers, or positive and negative. I don't really use those terms, but to explain it, there's patterns, whether they're positive or negative, with situations, people, and life. So if you notice patterns in your life that come up, this can show you how to discover your purpose. Now, I've taught about purpose a little bit, about the way to discover your purpose is by following your heart. no matter if it makes sense or not. It's to follow your heart. And I've learned that and for me, it was very hard too to learn how to follow the heart, right? So if you have questions about how to tune into your heart, how to learn how to follow your heart, one thing you can look at is go in the unit tabs and look at heart-centered connection, something like that, under Tuesday Live Trainings. That can give you some techniques to learn how to dive into your heart to continue to follow it. This is something that I teach even deeper and really hone into in the Lightworkers Path program. But if you wanted to start now, with this, when we follow our heart, when we listen to our heart, when we feel good about something really good, that like that honest truth good, in certain patterns or in certain situations, that's a like, hey, follow me, look more into me, okay? Because your heart is telling you which direction to go. So triggers can be whether that's a positive, right? They have a positive, quote unquote positive trigger that comes up and you get really excited about a situation, a person, life, for example. Then you can dive into that situation. You can dive into what about that person you like or that like excites you or what it is in that. So dive deeper and you can figure out directly what you like, what excites you, what makes your heart jump. And this is the path of discovering your purpose. So our purpose is not one set place. It's not an end result. It's actually the path. So when we notice patterns, and I'll get to the negative part, like the negative triggers, right? When we notice patterns in our life and say it's the positive ones, we can dive into that and say, ooh, okay, I like, that makes me happy. That makes me really happy. Okay, what is that? Oh, animals. Ooh, okay. So maybe if I don't know which direction to go, I can start with animals. Okay, what can I do with animals? I don't know if I want to go to a shelter to help them, but maybe I like dog walking, or you can check it out that way. If you are just trying to discover your purpose or going on those steps to your purpose, that can help out in which direction to go. But what we're really doing and what I'm really helping you with is discovering who you are. Because the more you know what you like and what you don't like, the more you can follow your heart in what you like and what you don't like. And that's discovering who you are as a person more. And that's going to lead you more to happiness. So that's kind of the bigger theme, the bigger idea of this part. Now, whenever it comes to negative patterns, you notice just so many negative patterns coming up, right? For me, I've had so much about addictions. I've had so many people in my life with addictions. Like, it is a huge pattern in my life. One that I had to heal from. So my addictions were overworking out and food. In high school, I had bulimia. I was bulimic. I'd throw up. But that was in high school. And I worked myself through that. And I got out of it. And I had to work on my own addictions to working out, overworking out, and food. Well, that has been such a theme in my life that has helped guide me on my path. I'm not going to get deeper into that because that goes into a rabbit hole. But notice even the negative things. If you notice a huge pattern in your life, you can work on yourself, and that pushes you to know more about yourself, which then pushes you to know more of what you want to do. And that's the road to your purpose, discovering your purpose. Okay, let me know what you think, if that's confusing for you. Again, that one goes a lot deeper. I'm only giving a tidbit here, but if you have any questions, post it in the comment. And yeah, I will continue. So, next thing we're going to go into is perceptions. And I do realize as I'm saying all of this, that this is so much information. So anybody who's watching this, feel free to watch this a couple of times. Feel free to break it up. Next time I'm going to slice it up a bit. You know, give less information, but more videos. Next thing we're going to go into is perceptions. Now, perceptions are how you see others, this is an example, is a reflection of you. And I've talked about that already, slightly. What this means is when you look at a person and you judge them, or you look at a person and you notice something really good about them, okay? Doesn't matter what, but when you notice that on a person, or you notice something in let's talk negative first. You notice something on a person, that's something that you're not okay with in yourself. So if I look at a girl and I judge her for saying she has big feet, I don't know, and I think her feet are big, what does that mean? That means I'm insecure about myself. The deeper meaning for that is I'm insecure about myself. Could it be about my feet? Maybe. I could dive into that. But everything that we go through, everything that we see is a reflection of ourselves. The part of this that is hard, and I understand this from whenever I was learning all of this, is that I didn't see how everything was a reflection of myself. It didn't make sense to me. I would go into a situation and be like, okay, how does this reflect me? This person is nothing like me, or this situation is nothing like me. But what it actually is it, and what I'm learning now, because I can dive into my own subconscious because of all the, I don't want to say work, I don't want to keep saying work, because I can dive into my subconscious because of all the fun growth activities and growth I've done on myself, I now see how everything is a reflection. But before, I didn't. So when I would look at something, it wasn't a reflection to me because it didn't make sense. But a lot of things are the subconscious reflections. So what you do in this moment is, even if it's subconscious and you don't see it, you get an idea that because you know there's a reflection of yourself, you can take what it is and meditate on it, journey about it, and notice it's what specifically sticks out. Okay, that's what you want to look at, is what specifically sticks out in what you're viewing in that other person. So that can help. And if you think of it as a reflection of yourself, then you can look into yourself even deeper. So I know, again, if it's subconscious, it's a little bit harder, but you're at a start there. Then you could dive into meditation. Then you could dive into journaling and say, in your journaling, say, this is what I am judging, for example, on somebody else. So do I have this? And just start, this is how I feel about myself. Let me know about that. What if it is just something you have just seen before? Okay. Can you give me an example of that so I can make sure I am answering this correctly? So what do you mean you have seen before? So you may have noticed something on somebody else. Are you judging it, or... Yeah, get back to me on that so I can answer correctly. And while I am waiting on that, I will talk about, this one is interesting too, is that, so a behavior, okay. If this is a pattern, so if there's a behavior that you notice on somebody else, and you only notice it, perceive it. Okay, so let me know if I'm answering this correctly. So if there is a behavior that you notice on somebody else that really sticks out to you, and you notice it because you've seen it before, is this becoming a pattern? Is this, or is it just maybe twice? Or have you seen it multiple? Okay, exactly, a pattern, yes. Patterns come into your life for a reason. You attract certain things into your life, and especially in the outside world, to show you what you need to see inside. So even if you're unsure what it is that you need to know, the universe is giving you more of an idea, which is helping the subconscious come up into the conscious mind. So yes, if it's a pattern, if you're seeing it more than once, you do want to ask yourself, especially for patterns. Patterns are definitely like this. If it's a behavior, what is it? Yes, a pattern throughout your life. Yes, definitely a pattern. If it's a pattern throughout your life, that is even bigger. That's saying there's something bigger there because it's coming up so much if it's been there for the whole time. So if it's a pattern throughout your life, then you do actually want to reflect on yourself with what that pattern is. You can ask yourself, is this some pattern that I have? But the thing is again, this could be subconscious. So if it is, at least we're opening it up. And what you want to do with this time is you want to start journaling about it. Is this a pattern I have? Is this a pattern? And you can start looking at your emotions about it. How do you feel about the pattern? Does it make you upset? Does it make you angry? You can look at emotions. That can help out. What do you think about the pattern? What are your thoughts? What are your beliefs about the pattern? You can start breaking it up, and that'll kind of help you with the journaling part. Patterns. Diane says patterns also show up in the multi-dimensional realm, I find. Yes. Yeah. Patterns are huge. Like everything that you bring into your life or everything that comes into your life is what you're asking to come into your life. Nothing is a coincidence. We may not see every reason why everything is there. We may not know that bigger picture for everything, and that's fine. We're not supposed to, because that would take way too much of our time to even think about all of that. But if it's patterns, it's coming into your life saying, here, hey, look at me. So that is definitely something to look at within yourself. And Diane, I love the multi-dimensional realm thing. Let me know. Okay. Diane says, okay, so Diane, let me know what you mean really show up in the multi-dimensional realm. Yes, totally for that, but I also want to know exactly what you mean by that. I'm very interested. If you feel like sharing. Ketty says, when people are quick to assume things about others, I perceive it and get extremely frustrated. So that, for example, Ketty, is something that you can look at with your past. So if somebody assumes something about another person, did this happen in your past where people or now do people assume things about you when they really don't understand? And if so, in your past, when you were growing up, did people believe things or assume things before you could even express yourself? Let me know how you feel with that. And that's part of it to journal with. And then you want to look at your emotions. Okay, so what is, like, how do I feel? So you said extremely frustrated. Okay, so you said extremely frustrated, so you can dive. That's great, you dove into that. So yeah, it's to look for, in that case, it's to look in the past. Yeah, let me know what you get with that. Okay, cool. Again, Diane, yeah, if you want to type in about the multidimensional realm, and I'll continue to go with this. And if you have any other questions, guys, feel free to comment. I love questions, and I love the back and forth. So yes, feel free. Okay. Here is somewhat. So you're somewhat as in it's happened in your past. Okay, so that one is a little bit trickier. Give me a second with this. This could go into that you weren't being heard, that nobody actually really wanted to hear you when you were younger. I say nobody, but like maybe certain people in your family, maybe whether they didn't want to hear you or they were so consumed in what they were doing that you may perceived as they didn't actually hear what you were saying. and or they didn't even take the time to see how you truly felt, and therefore unworthiness could be in it. So this could go multiple ways. So it is diving deeper in, it could be those two things that I said, where either they didn't take the time to get to know how you really were, they did, and that that there was unworthiness there, and or they didn't. And I say they, could be a family member, it could be somebody in your past. Yeah, exactly what I said there. See if that resonates. But that's how you can break it down and go deeper and deeper with it. Especially with meditation helps out with this, because it can help clear the head and get you also back into the heart. And that's whenever you want to really go into the heart and see what else comes up. Okay, so with the perceptions, this is basically what I was saying about perceptions. Oh, how you see others is a reflection of yourself. I already talked about what really sticks out. And then how someone sees another is completely different than how you... So yeah, how someone sees another is completely different than how you see that person. Okay? So what I mean by this, and I will get to you, Diane, what I mean about this with perceptions is that if I'm looking at somebody and I get this idea about who they are, and my perception of them is completely different than another person's perception of them, because what I'm seeing with them and what sticks out the most to me are things that is a reflection of me. So when someone else is looking at another person and they get this idea of a person, it's gonna be different than your perception of that person, because they have different things in their life that they need to see. So different qualities are going to stick out for them of that person, if that makes sense. Okay, so not one person sees another person the same way, because it's based off of what we see, is what we perceive, and our perceptions are come from our reality and what we have known and have grown up with and felt during our life experience. That's the word I'm looking for, experience in our lives. So Diane says, I see mental patterns showing up in my subconscious, and I am aware of the security it finds me. I think there are whispers guiding me. Mental patterns showing up in my subconsciousness, and I'm aware of the security. So if I'm understanding this correctly, you have these are guidance. Okay, so you're getting guidance, and let me know if I'm reading this correctly, of these mental patterns that you have subconsciously, and that's coming to your conscious awareness. Is that correct? Let me know with that. Okay, so let me know how you are, and we'll go to the next thing. If anybody else has any questions or any tidbits that they want to throw in. Yes. Yeah, then that is perfect. That is amazing. Follow that guidance. Remember always to dive into your heart. If you feel like you're going more into your head, do something, the techniques maybe that I've given, to go back into your heart and to follow that guidance even deeper. And this can help you unlock, especially like in your meditation or in your journaling, this could help you unlock more about those mental patterns. The more you know about them, the more, and what you need to learn from them, the more you can break those patterns, because you've learned what you need to learn, your soul growth from it. And it happens for a reason. They're showing you this for a reason, because it's something to be looked at and to change now. Okay, let me know if that resonates with you, Diane. Okay, the next thing we're going to go into is deja vu. Is everybody ready to continue, or do you want to continue talking about this a little bit longer, with perceptions and all of that? Let me know. Actually, it is 7:54. I didn't realize the time. So what we'll do is we'll dive into deja vu. So, deja vu. And again, feel free to comment in the thing. Deja vu came up, and this is extra, and I didn't know how it even related to mirror image. So I'm going to relate it as best as possible. And maybe it doesn't relate fully, but Spirit wanted me to throw this in here. So I'm going to throw this in here and have a whole nother look at deja vu, right? So what is deja vu? Deja vu is when in that moment you felt like you've been there or you've done that, right? In that place, in that certain time. It's like everything stands still and you're like, oh, yes, I've been here. Yes, I've seen this. But wait, I haven't ever been here before in this lifetime. So what is deja vu actually? The guidance that I've received with deja vu, it's timelines crossing. So this is where it gets a little bit in the more advanced, or again, take what resonates with you, leave the rest. That's all I'm going to say about it. So it's timelines crossing. So in the space of where we are today, time exists. But that's in our world, in the 3D, right? However, if you go even bigger with the spiritual stuff, time does not exist. Time is actually irrelevant. So what is happening is that we're having multiple lives, for example, all at the same time. And we can't register this because of our 3D mind, because we have time in this world to see what comes next. So bigger picture is time is actually irrelevant. It doesn't exist. Let me know your thoughts about that. If I just took it too far and you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. So what happens is, even though you may have feel like you've seen that area or that space in that deja vu and you've been there, you have, but it's the past in the now, because the past doesn't actually exist. So it's a whole nother timeline that's crossing over in that moment. Okay. Let me know how you feel about that. Again, I know I'm taking this a whole nother level. So again, 2 timelines crossing over. So in this timeline, you have been there, and in this timeline that crosses over, you notice, oh wait, I've been there. But it's not actually the past. It hasn't already actually happened, because time is irrelevant. So we have multiple things going on at the same time because time doesn't actually exist in the bigger picture. On this earth, it does. Now, we have that. So what does this mean? It means that, and I'm going to make this quick because I know we're running out of time. What it means is that when the timelines meet and you get that point of deja vu, it's saying you're on the right path. Why? Why is this a message from Spirit, God, universe, whatever you believe in, that you're on the right path? Because as we're going further and we're going into these new shifts and this new, we're integrating this new energy, and a lot of us haven't, or we're starting to feel these shifts, but we're going into it slowly. What's coming is to a point where we're not going to be worried about the future. We're not going to be worried about the past. We're going to be so in the present that the past and future don't affect us anymore. So we're healing all of our wounds right now from the past so that we can go from the present and make decisions from the present without our past affecting us. So yes, our past existed, but we're not going to be stuck there in, oh man, I shouldn't have done that, but rather making decisions from the now. And with that means with the stuff from the past is no longer going to affect our decisions, and the stuff from the future is the future. We're only focused on the present. This is where we're going with these shifts. How long is this going to take? Like this perception of where we're going. How long is this going to take for us to get there? It depends on your journey. Some people are already on this journey. I've talked to many people who have experienced the same things I'm talking about right now. And again, I'm bringing this to a whole nother level. And this is new in this group for me to bring it to this level. So let me know how you feel about this. But with this new energy we're going to, what happens is, because we're only going to be focused on the here and the now, then the different timelines of events are actually going to come into one, which is going to make us, and this is the more spiritual part of it, is going to make us more in the present, in the now. So when we have deja vu, it's saying that we are following our heart and we're in that moment, and to stop and notice what the deja vu is. Notice that what makes us happy in that deja vu, if anything, like what excites our heart, and to continue going forward in where you're going. Because before we didn't know what to do with deja vu, right? And again, this means the timelines are coming together so that we can be in the here and the now, and not having, not worrying about the past, not worrying about the future. So that is the timelines part. How does this connect to mirror image? And that because it's showing us, it says this is about how the world is a reflection of you. This is showing us how the world is reflecting and showing us where we are at that moment, which is on the right path. Okay, I brought this to a whole nother level. I'll see how this goes with introducing things like this in the next Tuesday live trainings. Let me know how you feel about that. If you're totally confused, if you're completely lost, if it resonates with you, even if you don't understand it, or that you understand it and it's something you're integrating now. Let me know how you feel. Because I'm trying to figure out whether or not I continue to put things like this in these Tuesday live trainings. Diane says, awesome. Megan says, I'm very intrigued by this. Yay, good, good, good. And as you can tell, I'm very actually nervous right now putting this stuff out there. So, but I do feel to continue adding some shape or form of even more like advanced, like things that are happening right now to that level in these Tuesday live trainings. So if you like it and you want more, let me know. All right, this has concluded, and comment, like, let me know how you feel. Let me know if this was too much. Diane says, you are amazing and are gift to the world, or gifting the world. Oh, thank you, Diane. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And so are you. We all have our purpose in this world, and it seems like as I've gotten to know you a little bit through this, it seems like you're really working on yourself also. So, and really following your heart, which is amazing. You're a gift to the world also. So, thank you, everybody. And I hope you have an amazing night. So, bye.